уже целый год, и пока машина не подводила, и выжимали по максимуму, и пока ни разу не подводила. Машина максимум, но машина позволяет и поддается маневрам. Всем очень маневренность идет хорошо, посты не задеваем, не сносим и уходим от всего, отрабатываем, быстренько отработали.
While French President Emmanuel Macron is trying to work up the courage and finally keep his word by sending the French army to Odessa and Kyiv, Russian troops continue to effectively achieve their objectives in Ukraine, ignoring the inadequate statements of the French leader. At the same time, it is worth noting that against the background of the successful advance of the Russian army in all directions of the line of combat contact, the Russian combat aviation and missile forces continue to launch daily massive missile strikes against military facilities and the energy infrastructure of Ukraine. Moreover, over the past 5 days, the Russian army has begun the systematic destruction of bridges and crossings not only in the zone of a special military operation, but also behind enemy lines. All these actions have already produced consistent results. The logistics of the armed forces of Ukraine have already been significantly disrupted in almost all directions of the line of combat contact. At the same time, the NATO leadership is particularly concerned about the fact that with each new missile attack, the effectiveness and accuracy of Russian missiles continue to grow rapidly. By the way, the accuracy and effectiveness of Russian missiles were once again proved in today's massive missile strike on the territory of Ukraine. So, it became known that on the night of April 3, the Russian army conducted another massive strike, launching dozens of ballistic and cruise missiles toward the Nikolaev, Dnipropetrovsk, Kirovograd, and SUMY regions. In addition to these Ukrainian regions, the territories of the Donetsk People's Republic, which are still under the control of the armed forces of Ukraine, were also subjected to missile strikes. In particular, we are talking about such settlements as Seladovo and Nikolaevka. So, on April 3, in the dead of night, Russian ballistic missiles hit the Zorya Hotel, located in the northwestern part of Nikolaevka. As it turned out, this hotel has been used for several days as a place of temporary deployment of the Ukrainian border guards. We are talking about a specialized intelligence platoon of the Department of the Border Service of Ukraine. According to preliminary data, this hotel was destroyed with the help of 2 Iskander-M ballistic missiles. Russian and Ukrainian sources report that as a result of this attack, about 30 soldiers and officers of this platoon were destroyed. An hour later, in Seladovo, Russian missiles hit the territory of the local central processing plant. Russian military intelligence managed to find out that the Ukrainian generals used the basements of this factory as the headquarters of the command of the armed forces of Ukraine, responsible for the fighting in the Donetsk direction of the front. Unfortunately, there is still no accurate information about the number of dead and wounded Ukrainian soldiers and officers. However, according to witnesses, after Russian ballistic missiles hit the territory of this factory, dozens of ambulances immediately arrived from nearby settlements, which indicates a large number of victims. In the Kirovograd and Nikolaev regions, Russian ballistic missiles destroyed about 7 energy infrastructure facilities that were actively used by the armed forces of Ukraine. In the Dnipropetrovsk region, Russian intelligence managed to discover and destroy 5 underground warehouses of the Ukrainian army, where recently delivered Western cluster munitions were stored. In the SUMY region, near the city of Romny, Russian military intelligence conducted a unique operation to discover and destroy the place of the deployment of the personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine and the main intelligence directorate of the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. Moreover, in the northwestern part of the city of Romny, a large lair of Polish mercenaries was also discovered and destroyed, who, as it turned out, took direct part in the attacks on the Belgorod and Kursk regions as part of the so-called Russian volunteer corps. According to Russian military sources, as a result of this attack, Russian Iskander-M ballistic missiles managed to destroy 8 high-ranking officers of the main intelligence directorate of the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, 20 soldiers of the armed forces of Ukraine, and about 50 Polish mercenaries. Exactly how Russian intelligence manages to detect such secret military facilities on the territory of Ukraine remains a secret. However, many reputable experts and analysts admit that the successes of Russian military intelligence are also associated with the support from the local population. According to them, the local population regularly transmits valuable information to Russian intelligence and provides support to Russian sabotage and reconnaissance groups. All this is explained by the fact that there are still strong pro-Russian sentiments in Ukrainian society.